How's it going, everyone? We're back with another weekly watch list. Thank you so much for clicking on the video, checking it out. Hope you're having a good day so far. Another week in the markets. Let's rock and roll, right? Looking to finish off April strong. It's been a lot of cash days for me. I've only had six uh, days this entire month where I've actually taken a trade. So a lot of cash days. It's not like I've had any days off. It's been a very normal month in that regard. Actually, the first week of April, there was just like I think it was the first week, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was off because I was traveling. But other than that, every day's been hitting the routine, staying on top of everything. It's just only the market has just not had great opportunities. There's that massive VIX OPEX and market OPEX that was in the way in the middle of the month, and so there's not a lot of great opportunities. And I'm just tripling down on my discipline with the market conditions that I'm willing to put my physical and mental capital behind. So 3 red, 3 green days for the month, and just sitting slightly red on the month, but we'll see how this month goes. Again, it is not about the P&L for me at this point. It is simply just about becoming a better trader. End of story. So let's get into the watch list for this week. Very simple. Again, we are sitting now quickly, real quick, to explain to other people we are sitting. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. We are between the previous day high and previous day low. That is my levels here, the white levels. My green levels are previous day lows, red is previous day highs, and usually, or any other supply or demand, like you'll see up here with these dotted lines, they usually mark supply, and then you'll see dotted lines down here for green, that'll be demand. So just looking at the 1 hour chart here, if we get over the previous day high, my next resistance is going to be 554.82. And then above that, I have this 1 hour supply zone up here. As you can see, I don't want to draw this whole zone just because I don't want to take up that much space on the chart. It'd be a massive zone, be a $7 zone. So simply just going to mark the wick. If we get above 554, we do have the 61 fib. We had been rejected off the 50, which was here. Big rejection here. We rejected it again. So I expect the 61 to hold up as well. It's from the daily. So up here, this looks like a nice area for rejection. Of course, if we get above that, my next resistance is going to be up here at 568, which is the top of that supply zone. If we go to the daily chart, we have this daily supply that I've been waiting for us to get up to this level for a while. So I do expect us to up here at this 575. Honestly, with the way the price is moving, first things first is to fill this gap. It seems inevitable to get over the previous day high and fill this gap. Above that is getting to 61 from the all-time highs to the April lows and that supply wick. And then, of course, this daily supply up here. As far as demand goes, under the previous day low, we have a lot of room down to my next support zone at 535, 533. And then below that, we have a 3 hour, 1 hour demand zone down here, which is also a gap on the daily as well. So if we do make a move down, I would expect this to come down and fill this gap. So that's going to be everything on SPY. We'll head over to SPX. So SPX, all I do is mark the previous day high and previous day low and keep them on the chart if we do gap above or below them, and it works pretty well. So previous day high, previous day low, above the previous day high, we have this daily gap, so I do expect price to get there. Then we have 5,600, so I also mark the whole cycle numbers as well, and then we have that 61 fit. Underneath the previous day low, we have this other previous day low here at 53, 54. So honestly, like this doesn't really hold too much weight for me. I'm probably just going to take that off the chart here just because those levels are so close together, and I'll consider this the previous day low. But we do have another gap here, and SPX does love to fill its gap. So that right at 5,300 would be my next area for support. If we go over to ES, take a look at ES for a moment, one moment. Okay, taking a look over at ES, I do have this kind of previous day low marked out. So if we do, start moving back down, I would like to see us get below this 54.89 before going short. Next area of support is really going to be down here at this gap that we have, and it's also a 3 hour demand zone. So we have this 3 hour demand zone, same on SPY, and it's a gap here on ES as well. So I would like to see us come down and fill that area. I'm actually just going to take away this level as well. Let's go over to a higher time frame, take a look at some other things. So we have the first resistance zone up here at 55.68, and then above that, that 61 fib. And then the same thing on ES, we have that daily supply. Let's go over to IWM before we go to QQQ first. So again, not trading IWM. I honestly think I might just take it off the watch list, probably starting next week. But we have the previous day high, previous day low. Underneath the previous day low, next support is at 189, and then down to 188 and 189. I'm sorry, 189, and then still another 189 and 188, another previous day low and previous day high. Below that is 184. Over the previous day high, we have another resistance zone at 195, and then the daily gap at 196. So we'll wrap everything up with QQQ. So looking at QQQ, previous day high, previous day low. And again, the market has been, making a really nice recovery since those April lows, which is nice. I did add to my long-term portfolio in regards to shares down here at 408 for QQQ. And then SPY was the same day. Can't remember exactly if I see it on the chart. It was somewhere in the fours on SPY. I think it was 480, 482, 484. So I got pretty close to the bottom, which was really, really lucky, which was nice. I was adding regardless. I didn't care. I wasn't trying to time the bottom. It was for the S&P and NASDAQ. It's like I'm just adding shares when I can. Anyways, so daily, take a look at the daily. No gaps, but again, we have this daily supply zone up here, 493. So that's the main area I think that we are headed towards. But over the previous day high, my next zone is going to be this 1 hour supply at 483. So let's head over to the 1 hour. 1 hour supply zone. Again, same thing, right? Like we have this small green candle followed by this large red. And I had the wick drawn out here, which as you can see, when we came up and tested it, we're rejecting it just barely here. So it doesn't look like a strong rejection. So I'm going to leave it off the chart for now. But this whole area from 483 down to 472, it's a massive zone. But like technically it is supply. It's just because it's such a massive wick. But really the top of this wick is where I'd like to see price to head to at 483. Above that, we have the 61 fib from the daily, which also lines up with my next resistance zone already at 486. So that looks like a really solid area before that daily supply. As far as demand goes, under the previous day low, we have a lot of room down to my next bounce zone at 455. And then below that, we have 452, which was a previous day high that we kind of broke above in the aftermarket and then kind of just chopped around. So haven't really retested it, but under that, my main demand is going to be this big demand zone down here. It's a daily gap. It's a 4 hour demand. It's a 1 hour demand. It's a 2 hour demand, just a big demand zone from 447 to 443. So I would expect to see a bounce there. So NQ, we'll finish up with that. It's going to look obviously similar. We have that demand zone, same thing, all the way down here, this 3 hour demand. We have our whole cycle at 19,000, but really it's this previous day low that I'm looking at as far as holding up. If we break below that, I would expect this to move back down to 19,000 or this resistance turn to potential support. Again, light blue is like potential level. I could use this, just for something to watch for. It's not something I'm really taking a trade at. And then we have this giant 4 hour, same thing, right? This big, and I do have the whole zone drawn on NQ, right? This whole zone here, we have this 1 hour supply. So we have the top of the wick up here. I have that marked. I have the upper wick marked, the 1 hour, and then we have the 1 hour wick and body of that 1 hour candle and the 61 fib. So gonna be cautious with longs in this area. I'd like to see maybe in the pre-market price break above this, and I could kind of remove this off the chart and just kind of keep the 61 on there. And then above that, of course, we have the daily supply. So anyways, that's going to be everything. Thank you so much for checking it out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.